Jonathan, na sua resposta anterior, você diz que o passado já lidava com alguns dos dilemas da suposta modernidade, entre eles essa crise do homem branco. Isso já era presente nos seus livros anteriores e aparece muito fortemente no Encruzilhadas em diferentes gerações, de uma maneira bastante crua, inclusive. Eu queria saber se esse incômodo também é seu, se você sente essa inadequação, esse sentimento de estar quebrado e de ter uma certa crise da masculinidade nos dias de hoje, se isso te aflige de alguma maneira.
I did have kind of a masculinity crisis. I was an early, strong, kind of crazy feminist. I got that in high school even. There was a strong feminist component to my Christian youth group. And then I went to a very liberal college. And I basically came out of that with the feeling that to be a man was to be guilty. And to a lesser extent, to be white was to be guilty. And I tried to live like that for 10, 15 years, and it made me very unhappy because I am a man. And I would say that in my 30s, I began to feel, why do I have to apologize? It's difficult for me to read Philip Roth novels. It's difficult for me now to read a Joseph Heller novel, Catch-22. They are so sexist. That seems so ancient. That's not the kind of masculinity I'm interested in. But I do feel that to simply say all masculinity is, say, toxic, or that men are inherently morally inferior to women because, say, they can't help objectifying women. They look at how a woman looks and they're sexually attracted on that basis before they've even had a conversation with the woman. You know, those are male behaviors that we're never really going to get away from. And if you try to respond by simply making yourself nothing, because what you are is so terrible, that's a recipe for unhappiness. And I think it's also a recipe for dishonesty. So I try to populate my books with male and female characters, and I try very hard to do complicated female characters and fully engage with their subjectivity. But I think it's important to include male characters as well, and not to be dishonest about the way men really are. In Crossroads, one of the main characters, the pastor of the church, is pursuing this woman in the congregation. He wants to have sex with her because he's only ever had sex with his wife. And his wife is more experienced, and this just bothers Russ. And he's fixed on, if only I could have sex once with somebody else, and specifically this woman in the church, then I would feel more like a man. And I'm smiling as I say that because it's ridiculous, and he knows it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong to his wife. It's wrong from a religious perspective, but nonetheless, he has to have it. And that's the position I want to be in as a novelist, where I'm watching a man. I'm not saying this is good behavior. We can all agree it's not good behavior. And yet, if you can make a connection with what it's like to be that character and really inhabit that ridiculous desire of his, then you start to forgive a little bit. And you forgive by laughing at the man, because that pursuit is just, at a certain level, ridiculous.